Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namami Buddham Gunasagarantam Santa Sada Hontu Sukhi Avera Kayo Jingunjo Sakalo Dugandho Gacchante Sabbe Maranam Mahante Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Samma Sambuddhassa Dittinca Anupagamma Silava Dassanena Sampanno Kame Suvinaya Gedam Nahi jatu gambhaseyam punareti. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in Dhamma, and today we are going to discuss very special discourse in Buddhism named Karaniya Metta Sutta or Metta Sutta. This sutta comes in Sutta Nipata and Kuddakapata as well. In both places we can see this same discourse. Actually, as Buddhist followers, we always chant this discourse. And most of people can speak, can recite this very special discourse by their memory. However, most of them don't know the real meaning of the discourse. But actually, if we can understand the meaning of this discourse, we can get more benefits. That is very important. And especially when we say this discourse can be used as a blessing discourse and the guidance for liberation and guidance to make a perfect personality. I think in 3 ways we can get the benefits from this discourse. First of all, we should know the reason why Buddha explained the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Once upon a time, the Buddha was in Sravasti in India. Monks were given advice for meditation by the Blessed One, and they were meditating living in forests as they wished. In Buddha's time, first of all, monks get some advice from the Buddha. Then they usually go to a very calm place, forest, jungle, or any other very rest area. And they practice their doctrines, and finally they come back to Buddha and they say their results by practicing the Dhamma. That is the main thing. But the very special thing, before they go to the jungle, they know, they understand, they learn near the Buddha what is the path. That is the very important thing. However, among them, a group of monks having instructions from the Buddha went to the Himalaya for their spiritual development. When they were in the jungle practicing meditation, they were disturbed by some divine beings, since those beings couldn't live in their residences because of the monks' higher virtuous qualities. When monks are on the floor, because of their virtues, other beings can live in upper level. That is the thing. Even though they are very invisible, they are some gods or some divine beings, they can't live in the higher places. They are uncomfortable. That is why these monks had a problem. Divine beings did a lot of things to bring fear to the monks, such as showing fearful forms, sounds, and smells. The monks tried to overcome the problem, but they failed. Finally, they went back to the Blessed One and explained everything that they faced. The Buddha taught them the Metta Sutta as a blessing protection and a meditation technique as well. In this, because they tried to overcome this problem again and again, however, they failed. Then finally they decided to go back to the Buddha, asking some instructions. That is the main reason why the Supreme Buddha explained this discourse. The Buddha taught them the Metta Sutta as a blessing protection and a meditation technique as well. Further, the Buddha advised them to go back to the same place and meditate, chanting, contemplating on the practice in the Sutta. Buddha advised them to go to the same place. Buddha didn't advise to go to another place. Having this discourse and remembering this discourse, Buddha advised them to go to a same place. By chanting this discourse, by practicing this discourse, Buddha instructed them to follow the path. And here, according to instructions, when they were practicing this sutta, they could achieve their spiritual goals by the power of this discourse and monks' good behavior. Divine beings were also happy and helped them to fulfill their spiritual goals. First they disturbed, finally they helped the monks. Because in this discourse, they practice loving kindness. They wished, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When they think this thing and also when they chant this discourse, they couldn't disturb the monks, and finally, by helping them, they also acquired some meritorious deeds because of the monks. And when we discuss this discourse, as I mentioned before, this discourse guides us to make a perfect personality. When you study psychology or sociology, you can learn something, some qualities that you can practice to develop your personality. Actually, all of those qualities can be included into these qualities, what comes in this discourse. In the very first part, Buddha explained how we develop our moral conduct, our virtues, our spirituality. And then Buddha explained the second part, practicing loving kindness as a concentration meditation technique. The third part, Buddha explained the wisdom. This discourse has an order. When we have keen investigation, we can find the path of this discourse, and therefore this discourse is a blessing discourse and a meditation guidance, and also the guidance that we can make a perfect personality. In three ways we can appreciate, we can use this same discourse, the Karaniya Metta or Metta Sutta. And therefore, actually, according to my opinion, I think this is the Buddhist anthem. Buddhist anthem. Everywhere we can use this discourse as a blessing discourse, as a meditation guidance, and how we develop our personality to the maximum level. All qualities that a very good person has can be included into these qualities what Buddha has explained in the Karaniya Metta Sutta. And I think one by one stanzas let's recite and discuss the meaning. That is very important. Very first stanza or verse or gatha is that Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yantam Santam Padang Abhisamecca Sakko Ujoja Sujoja Suvacho Chassa Mudu Anatimani. In the very first stanza, Buddha says, Karaniya Matta Kusalena. It is very important to know that Karaniya Matta, not Karaniya Metta. Okay? Karaniyam Atta Kusalena. He who is skilled in doing good. Yantang Santang Padang Abhisamecca. And who wishes to attain that state of calm should act as Sakko Ujoja Sujoja. Then, he who wants to become the peace of mind has to practice these qualities from here to down. What they are? Very first one, Sakko. He should be skillful. The very first quality that we should have on the path of peace, that skillfulness, proficiency. Especially, sometimes we can say that skillfulness can be applied to many things, but especially Buddhism says that skillfulness in our senses. It says in Buddhism as Ayatana Kusalata. Ayatana Kusalata means senses. We have 6 senses. We should be skillful in these 6 senses. What is the skillfulness is in senses? When we look at something, when we hear something, when we smell something, we should know that these senses arise at the moment. These senses are impermanent. Impermanence means that the eye means the ability of seeing. Ear is not the physical ear. The ability of hearing. Nose is not just the physical nose, but the ability of smelling. And these senses are impermanent. What is the meaning of impermanence? Impermanence means these senses arise at the moment with the conditions. And the other thing is, these 6 senses cannot be seen. We usually think that we can see our eye, we can see our ear, we can see our nose. Actually, these 6 senses cannot be seen. We can see form. When you look at me, when you look at my eye, you can see the form, but you are unable to see my eye. Eye means the ability to see something. That eye arises when some forms appear here and when lights are here. With the several conditions, the form appears in front of us. Later we will discuss, okay? The first one is skillfulness, Sakko. The second one, Uju. Uju means upright or honest. And the third one, Sujoja, perfectly upright. Buddha emphasizes honesty 2 times. ujoja, sujoja. Not only we should be honest, but we should be perfectly upright. That is very important. What is the honesty that Buddhism emphasizes? Whatever we do in the name of peace, we should be honest that when I do these things, whether my desire, self-view and conceit increase or decrease. Even in our day-to-day life, when we do something, such as when you wear a clothes, when you clean your body, when you eat something, when you see something, when you feed your children, you should think that when I do these things, whether my trusna or greed and ditti, self-view or own view, and mana means conceit, increase or decrease. Then we can decide whether I should do this thing or not. That is the real place that where we should be honest. Actually, that has a very deep meaning. Okay? Next, Buddha says, Suvacho chassa mudu anatimani. Suvacha means it should be gently spoken. Not only we should speak gently, but we should be gently spoken. What is that? When someone says something, we should have good attention that what he says. Now, all of you have the same quality. That is why you are hearing me. It doesn't mean that you should be obedient. It is not the obedience. Obedience is not appreciated in Buddhism. Buddhism always appreciates that good attention, active listening. That is the very first quality that we should have on the path of liberation. Active listening. Active listening and obedience are different. Obedience means whatever someone says, we are ready to practice it. Buddhism doesn't appreciate it. Obedience is not a quality in Buddhism, but active listening is a quality. Next, mudu, gentle, and anatimani, humble. These are the qualities. We should be flexible. Even though we are honest in one side, on the other side, we should be flexible. Both of them are very important on this path. The next stanza.
Do you mean mudu is flexible?
Flexible means, for example, if we start our class 6:30, if someone says that, please stop me until I come, within 5 minutes I will come, then we should be flexible.
Is that the word mudu?
Is that what mudu means?
Yes, we should...
but is that the Pali mean?
Which word? Which word?
Mudu?
Mudu.
Ah, yeah.
Mudu.
Flexible.
Yeah.
Mudu. Mudu can be used in several ways, but really, gently or, flexibility. And anatimani means humble. The next one, santussakocha subarocha. Santussako means we should be contented or we should be satisfied with that already we have. It doesn't mean that we should stop our earning or studying something. But the thing is, we should be satisfied with already that we have. That is very important. But most of people in the world, they are unsatisfied. What is the reason? They always think that their happiness is future or tomorrow. That tomorrow never comes until they die. Hence, we should be satisfied what we are skillful, what we have, what we think. That is the Buddhist path. The next one, Subharocha, easily supportable. Easily supportable. It means if we are in a particular place, if we disturb others always, I want this thing, then it is a problem of others. Therefore, we should be easily supportable. Subharocha. The other meaning is that when we go somewhere, we should have few things. Especially as a spiritual person, especially Buddha explained these things for the monks. Actually, as monks, we have only few things, such as 3 robes, bowl, and other very few things we have. That is why Buddha says we monks are like birds who have the weight of their flies, their wings.
Travel lightly.
If we have very few things, it means we are easily supportable. The next one is Appakiccocha Sallahoka Buddhi. Appakicco, with few duties. If we have a lot of things always at the same time, it is very difficult to practice this path. Practice means we have no enough time to think or reflect on the reality. That is why we should have a good management in our time. It is very important. We should give the priority that we should do very quickly. And on this path, we should have very few duties. Sallahuka Buddhi, simple in livelihood. Livelihood. Yes. Simple in livelihood. It means it is a little bit same to easily supportable, but it is different. And simple in livelihood. And when we live in this society, we should be very simple. With few clothes, few shoes, then we are very simple. Next one, Santindriyocha Nipakocha. Santindriyocha. Indriya means senses. Santa means controlled. Controlled in senses. Especially, Buddha encourages us to have a discipline in our senses. When we see something, when we hear something, if we are interested to see again and again, actually that is a problem. If we need to listen in some songs, watch some movies again and again, actually it is a disturb for our spiritual path, spiritual development. That is why Buddha has explained here, controlled in senses. Next one, Nipakocha. Nipaka means discreet or wise. Especially here, Buddha explains, we should have an ability to act according to the environment, according to the present environment. We should be wise. The proper thing that we should do in a particular way. That means Nipaka, in another meaning that we can say, wise or wisdom. Next one, Appagabbo Kulesu Ananukiddo. Appagabba. Appagabba means not stubborn. Some people are very, very stubborn. Like, they are not flexible and they are very strong and they don't care others. We should not be like that. Okay, the other one is kulesu ananukiddo. That is very important. Not greedily attached to families. Even one's own family, we should not have very big attachment. With our children, even with our, grandchildren, we should be very careful. If we are on this path, little by little, we should overcome the very greedily attachment with our families. That is also very... It doesn't mean that we should not fulfill our duties. Actually, while we are fulfilling our duties as parents, as grandparents, anytime we should have an ability to, remove them. Even though we are here anytime, we are subject to die. We have to remove everything what we have already. That is the nature of our life. In this situation, we should have one quality that not to be greedily attached to families. That is also a quality. The next one, Nacha kuddhang samachare kinchi yena vinyo upavadeyum. Both lines are in the same meaning. The thing is, he should not commit any slight wrong so that other wise men might criticize. That is very important. Even though we are correct, sometimes some people criticize us. We should not care it. But we should care that whether wise people criticize me when I do these things. That is very important. Buddhism always emphasizes wise men, not the population. Sometimes the population are mad. Many people blame some things, but few people appreciate what we do. For example, after Buddha attained enlightenment, then one of teachers, that Sanjay, he says that he is the teacher of Assaji Upatisava Buddha's colleague. Sanjay, when he says that Buddha says that please come to here, then he says that no, you go to the Buddha, because few people are wise, many people are mad, many people come to me, few people go to Buddha. Sanjay, actually I think his name is Sanjay. Then, Bhante Sariputta. After they attained the Sotapanna, they asked their some colleague or teacher named Sanjay, now we found a person who is already enlightened. Let's go there. Then what that person say? He says that Buddha is wise. And also wise people will go to Buddha. And wise people are very few in the world. But many people are mad. The few people who are wise will go to Buddha. Many people who are mad will come to me. Therefore, I don't go to Buddha. Then like that here, Buddha says, Nacha buddhan samachare kinchi yena vinyo pariyupadiyum. When you do something, you should reflect whether wise people criticize me or not. That is very important. And next one, again Buddha says, Sukhino va khemino hontu. Sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitatta. Okay, now those qualities are finished. Here especially that is the first part. What is the first part? There are 14 qualities are described. That page number 3, you can find everything. I have given all of them as an order. Again, you can see those qualities that we should have before we start this path. First of all, we should have these good qualities. What they are? First one is skillfulness, sakko. Then ujocha, honesty. Ujocha, perfectly upright. And suvacho, gently spoken. Mudu, gentle. Anatimani, not conceited. And santussakocha, being contented. Subara, easy to support. Appakicho, being less busy. Sallavkavutti, being simple. Santindriyocha, controlling in senses. Nipaka, wisdom or discretion. And appagabbo, not stubborn. Kulesu ananokiddo, less attachment to familism. Nechakuddhan samachare kinchi, yenavinyo parayupadeyu. Having moral fear and shame for even slightest wrong conduct that can be criticized by the wise. These are the very essential qualities that we should have on this path. These 14 qualities can be summarized into 3. Don't be worried to have all those qualities, but we can summarize these 14 qualities into 3. What they are?
Honesty.
They are very good. Honesty, gently spoken, and wisdom. Those 3 things are very important. If you are honest, intelligent or wise, and gently spoken, even though we have a lot of mistakes in our life, we can overcome them in a minute. Okay? That is very important. Have any question in this part? Here we discuss the first part. Actually, in Buddha's teachings, we can see an order. What is the order? 3 characteristics. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration, and wisdom. In this part, Buddha emphasizes the first part.
The Sila.
Sila. Okay? That is the very first part. Especially, we should know to be honest, wise, and gently spoken. Even though we are gently spoken, if we are not wise, actually we can't understand what we say. Buddha says, before he started to preach Dhamma to the world, Buddha says, Etu vinyo puriso asato amaya vina vankajato. Please come to me, those who are honest, who are wise, who don't cheat others. These are the qualities that we should have when we listen to Buddha's message. That is very important. And this is the very first part. Actually, if we have these qualities, it means we have a perfect personality. Nobody can disturb our character. If we are strong with these 14 qualities, that is very important. Now, we are going to the second part. What is the second part? Second part means samadhi or concentration. Okay? From next part that Buddha says, what is that? Here. Sukhino va kemino hontu sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitattha. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings become happy in their heart of hearts. Now we start the second part, meditation or concentration. Here, Buddha advises us to practice loving kindness. On the path of liberation, very beginning, we should be compassionate. We should have compassion and loving kindness. Okay, that is very important. Another reason that we mostly suffer because of anger. If we can overcome anger, actually we can overcome more than 50% stress from our mind. Therefore, Buddha explains here that to practice loving kindness, thinking, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Again and again we think. Practicing meditation, practicing loving kindness can be applied for several ways, such as it is one of the techniques to overcome anger. That is one of the benefits. The another one is, if we want to overcome our stress, practicing loving kindness also one of the techniques. Another thing is that practicing loving kindness is one of the concentration meditation techniques. According to Buddhist meditation techniques, actually there are 40 meditation techniques in Buddhism. Among them, practicing loving kindness of one of them. And until we start to practice loving kindness, actually we haven't started the path of liberation, the path of peace. That is why in our day-to-day life, we should try to practice loving kindness, train our mind as may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. First, we practice loving kindness by our mind, mentally. But we should not only practice loving kindness mentally, but physically and verbally. That is why Buddha says, when you speak something, when you behave something, when you think something, please think again and again whether I have loving kindness. We should speak, behave and think with loving kindness. Metta sahagata kaya kamma, metta sahagata vachi kamma, metta sahagata mano kamma. Friendly words, friendly behavior, friendly thinking. These three parts are very important. Sometimes people practice loving kindness mentally, but physically and verbally they have no loving kindness. These three things are very important. Okay? And here, then, Buddha explains how we practice loving kindness in various ways. Taking beings in the world in various ways. First, ye kechipana bhutatti tasava thavarava anavatesa. Ye kechipana bhutatti. Whatsoever living beings that exist. Tasa, weak. And thavara, strong. Anavasesa, without exception. Weak means there are some weak beings in the world, such as very small ants, like that. They are very weak beings. There are some strong beings, such as elephants, like that. Again, Buddha says, Digava ye mahantava. Long or stout. Majjima arassa khanuka tula. Majjima arassa, medium, short. Khanuka, small. And tula, large. In various beings, we think. We meditate for them. Dighavaye addittha. Those who can be seen or who are unseen. Yecha dure vasantya viduhure. And those dwelling far or near. Bhutava sambhavyesiva. Bhuta means those who are born. And those who are to be born. Who are sambhavyesiva. Those who are to be born. You can think who they are? Who they are? You know, there are some beings who are in some eggs, who are some in the wombs, mother's womb. They are hoping to be born. Yeah. Those are the people, those who are to be born. And sabbe satta bhavantu sukhisatta. May all beings, without exception, become happy in their heart of hearts. We think that may all beings be well, happy, healthy and peaceful. We think all beings in the world, in various ways we think. Small beings, very big beings, long, short, who are born, who are going to be born. All things, all beings are concerned here when we practice loving kindness. Then, naparo paranni kubbeta nati manyeta katta chinang kanchi. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere for any reason. Vyarosana patiga sanya nanya manyasa dukkha michaya. In anger or ill will, let them not wish each other harm. Actually, in one side, we practice may all beings be well and happy. In another way, we think other beings should practice loving kindness to another person. That is also because there are many people who are struggling, who are fighting in outside. We think that may all beings be free from anger. The other one is Mata yataniyam puttam ayusa ekaputta manurakke evampi sambha bhuteso manasambhavaya parimanam. Just as a mom would guard her only child at the risk of her own life, even so towards all beings, let him cultivate boundless heart for all beings. What is the highest attitude that we make as the result of practicing loving kindness? When we meet a person, when we think a person, when we hear a person, we think that that person is my only son. If we have this attitude, actually how our mind is beautiful. Then we can overcome a lot of problems in this society if we have this highest attitude. This is the result of practicing loving kindness. Mettancha sambbalokasmin mana sambhavai aparimanam uddhang adhocha tiriyancha asambhadam averang asapattam. Let thoughts of boundless compassion or love pervade the entire universe, above, below, and across, without any destruction, without any hatred, without any enmity. And little by little, we go to the deeper level in practicing loving kindness. Again, Buddha says, Cittam charan nisinnova sayanova yavatassa yugadamiddo. Whether he stands, walks, sits, or lies down, as long as he is awake. Etang sating aditteya. He should develop this mindfulness, loving kindness. Brahma metang viharang idamahu. This, they say, is the highest conduct, as like living in heaven right here and now. Actually, this is the attitude of beings in Brahma realm. Practicing loving kindness and other three sublime states, such as karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upekha, equanimity. Those four things are the four sublime states that with the Brahma realm beings live with. If we can practice loving kindness, it means even though physically we are human beings, mentally we are Brahmas who are in the Brahma realm. Okay? If we practice loving kindness, actually we don't stop in loving kindness. Automatically other three boundless compassions, other sublime states gradually increase. The other thing is here, we can practice loving kindness in four postures. Walking, standing, sitting, lying down. In these four postures, we can practice loving kindness. There are some particular meditation techniques in Buddhism, such as breathing meditation. We should have a particular posture. But when we practice loving kindness, we can practice it in four postures. While we are walking, sitting down, standing, and lying down, in these four postures, without any boundless, any differences, we can practice metta bhavana or loving kindness. Thinking, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When we practice loving kindness, that sometimes other people don't change. When we practice loving kindness, our attitude changes. We overcome anger as much as we practice loving kindness. This is the way how we purify our mind from anger. Sometimes people may think that even though I think that may all beings be well and happy, they don't change. Sometimes some people may think that. Actually, sometimes when we are very strong, sometimes we can give an influence to them. But usually we do this kind of meditation techniques for our inner peace. He who wishes to attain peace of mind has to practice this path. And now we discuss the second part, the concentration or samadhi. In Buddha's teachings, we can see an order. Dana, Sila, Bhavana or Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Generosity, virtue or meditation, that is the heavenly path. How we receive a blissful life with the understanding of the karmic law. That is the very first advice of the Supreme Buddha. When we are sure that we never fall into hell, then we are very strong in the heavenly realm or blissful life. Then, with the understanding of the dependent origination, we should enter the second part. What is that? Mokkha Magga or deliverance path. Deliverance path has 3 disciplines. What they are? Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila means virtue, concentration and wisdom. What is the difference? Sila in heavenly path and deliverance path. In deliverance path and heavenly path as well, Buddha has proclaimed practicing virtue. What is the difference in virtue according to heavenly path and deliverance path?
You want us to answer?
Yes.
I would think in the heavenly path, you'll have peace in this life.
Yes.
You'll still be reborn in the samsaric circle.
Yes. Yes, that is correct. I especially asked you that what is our point of view when we practice virtue in heavenly path and deliverance path?
Is there lack of self-view in the heavenly path?
Sorry?
It's overcoming self-view.
Yes.
It's doing it selflessly.
Especially when we practice virtue in the heavenly realm, we think that there is a world around us. There is a person outside. I don't kill you. I don't do sexual misconduct. There are some people here. I should have discipline. I am disciplined thinking a world which is around us as permanent. That is the attitude of virtue in heavenly path. When we go to the deeper level in deliverance path, in virtue or sila, we look at inside. And as soon as I see a person, I know very well a person is created by myself, according to my point of view. Then he has a vision. What is the vision? Vision is explained the next stanza. What is that? Dittincha anupagamma silava dassanena sampanno. Not falling into wrong views, virtuous and endowed with vision. This is the virtue in the deliverance path. What is the difference? That dittincha anupagamma silava. What are the dittis or wrong views? If a person thinks that there is a world, that is an extreme. If someone thinks that there isn't a world or thing, that is also an extreme. Buddha says very clearly, when you see the arising of 5 aggregates, you never go to the extremes of nothing or there isn't something. At the same time, when you see the cessation of or ceasing of 5 aggregates, you never go to the extreme of there is something. These both extremes should be reduced by same vision. What is the same vision? The understanding of the dependent origination, arising and ceasing. When conditions arise, the experience ceases. When conditions cease, immediately the experience ceases. Arising and ceasing. When this is, this is. When this is not, this is not. Asmin sati idam hoti, asmin asati idam no hoti. Can you, Mr. Paul, remember last day we discussed finally?
We did it, yes.
Yes.
That's right, yes.
Yes. That is the point of view that we should have on this path.
Right.
That is the theory of the dependent origination. Dependent origination is the heart of Buddhism. That is the essence of Buddhism that we should develop as a point of view on the path of deliverance. And with that understanding, actually this part belongs to wisdom. The very first part belongs to virtue or sila. The second part belongs to concentration or samadhi. The third part, the last stanza, belongs to panya, wisdom. This is the wisdom. If a person has this vision, what happens to him? What happens to him? Kāmesu vinayagedam nahijātu gabbaseyam punaretiti. He discards attachment to sensuous desires. Truly, it does not come again to be conceived in a womb. He never come back to a womb. Why is that? In this level, he may have attained anagami or arahant. Because he have no sensuous desire. In this level, he has the highest point of view according to the what Buddha taught. And also, he has overcome sensuous pleasure and karma. He doesn't come to a sensual world like human realm or even heavenly realm. If he will be reborn, actually he will be born in the Brahma realm as an anagami person.
Bhante, I have to go now.
Okay, sure.
But you, if you can email me the link, I can then listen to the end
sure.
of the talk. So thank you very much.
No problem.
Yes,
I will send you the link.
Sadhu.
Okay. All the blessings with
Thank
you.
you.
Please take care. Please don't forget your...
No, yes. I'll come back in a minute.
Okay. And here, this is the path actually. In one side, this is a blessing discourse. On the other side, this is a guidance to make a perfect personality. The other one is, other benefit is that this is the path of liberation. This is the gradual path that we can practice from beginning to end according to the what Buddha taught. Everything is here. That is why I said that this is the Buddhist anthem. We should recite this discourse again and again with meaning. Meaning is more important. And with the understanding of this discourse, if we practice the vision, Buddhist point of view, then we are confident in Buddha's enlightenment. Dittincha anupagamma sīlava dasanena sampanno. It means we are confident in what the Buddha taught when we practice this message. When we have confidence in what the Buddha taught, then our energy gradually increases. Then we practice mindfulness. We concentrate our mind. With the concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence. The very important thing in Buddhism, when our mind is concentrated, we don't stop in concentration. Because we started this spiritual path with the understanding of the deliverance path. Then Buddha says, Samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam pajanati. He who concentrates his own mind reflects on impermanence. As much as our mind is concentrated, then we gradually reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our five aggregates, or five senses, or elements. As much as we reflect on impermanence of five aggregates or senses, gradually we overcome attachment or detachment. Both of them are reduced as the result of practicing this path. Then we don't need to practice loving kindness or the impurity of our physical body parts. Actually, very primary level, we practice loving kindness and contemplating on impurity of our body parts. That is a very surface level meditation technique. When we are clever to reflect on impermanence directly, then we don't find a person or thing outside. As soon as we experience something because of our mindfulness and contemplating on impermanence, we look at inside. Now, because of our ignorance, when we experience something, suddenly our mind is fixed in outside persons and things. If we have this understanding, we are like the people who are in front of the mirror. When we go to the mirror, suddenly we can use the mirror, but we look at inside. We can see everything, forms, sounds, everything, but when it be realized, we know very well, we understand these things through our mind, not through our eyes. Eye duty is very few. Eye can't recognize something. Ear can't recognize something. Nose can't recognize something. Our physical body can't recognize something. When we recognize something, we do it through our mind. When we recognize something through our mind, what happens to our first experience? The first experience has already ceased. If we have this understanding, it means we don't depend on outside. It doesn't mean that we don't fulfill our duties. Actually, we do everything. We take care of our children, we do our jobs, we clean our house, and we clean our physical body, we take care of our parents and children. We do everything, but we know my liberation depends on my understanding. We never find the liberation from our children or from our properties. Even though we have a lot of children and properties, our real liberation depends on my point of view, my vision. Then day by day, we develop our wisdom, and at the same time, we concentrate our mind with using some meditation techniques. At the same time, we develop our discipline or moral conduct or sila or virtue. Okay, this is the thing that I hope to describe you. If you have any question, you can ask. Are you tired?
No. Well, sometimes you explain things so well that I can't think of a question that you haven't already answered.
Yes.
So
actually, end of the discussion, automatically our problems solved, our questions are solved.
yes.
If you listening to the sermon with good attention, if the preacher says everything very clearly, automatically our questions are solved.
When we are angry with people, what should we do to prevent it?
Actually, in the primary level, as I mentioned, first we have to practice loving kindness. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Not only when we have problems, but before we face those problems, we should have practiced these things. The other things, according to Vitakasantana Sutta, there is a very special discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, how we control our negative thoughts. When we have negative thoughts, such as lust or anger, first we should think adinava or danger. What are the disadvantages of having these kind of negative thoughts in my mind? Then we can overcome those things. When we are angry, actually others have no problem. We have polluted our own mind. Problem is here. Sometimes when we are angry, others don't know that we are angry with them.
Quite often they do.
Yes. Then we should think the disadvantages or dangers of having anger. The other thing is, at the same time, we can develop the opposite ideas. Such as when we are greedy, we can practice generosity. When our mind is lustful, then we can practice the meditation technique that the impurity of our body parts, ear, blood, skin, teeth, from one to one, we can reflect on. Then we can overcome lust. When we are angry, the opposite thing of anger is practicing loving kindness. On the other side, we can think that even though now some persons are angry with us, in my previous lives, they might be our close relatives and friends, they might be our parents, our children. Why do I hate them? Then we can overcome suffering. There are many techniques that Buddha has explained. Finally, actually all of them are included into the primary level in the conventional truth. When we go to the deeper level.
So is this all part of right effort?
Sorry?
Right effort.
Right effort.
Yeah.
Yes. When we go to the deeper level, actually, suddenly we look at our inside. In the primary level, I think there is a person, I should not angry with him. In the primary level, we think. But when we go to the deeper level, to inside, actually, as soon as I remember you, I think this mental condition. This my present thought that is impermanent, that arises and ceases at the moment. That present thought is impermanent. It arises with the conditions and immediately it ceases. When we look at inside, suddenly we can overcome anger.
Yes, because often anger is something that we hold on to. We choose to hold on to. And we choose to, what's the word? The second arrow can become sometimes a fourth, fifth, sixth arrow. 2 weeks later we can suddenly remember, they said that, I remember them now. And it is very difficult to let go of that, to relinquish.
People, when they're angry, often think they're in the right.
Yes.
They think it is rightful.
Yes.
Righteous anger.
Righteous anger. They think they're right.
And
therefore, it's okay to be angry because they think someone else has wronged them.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that is the thing in their side. Actually, sometimes we can correct them.
Yes.
But we can do the thing that we can correct our point of view. That is the thing. Actually, we can cover the whole earth. We can wear a shoes. Like that. The other thing is, when we are angry, before we respond, there is a technique that count from 1 to 10.
Yes, that is, yes.
Like that.
I used to get very angry, and you taught me to count to 10. and I don't really
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
get very angry.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. It's
No.
gradually over the years changed.
But I think your Buddhist investigation, your constant learning and your constant desire to learn has made a difference to you.
Yes, because it makes you feel calmer.
Yes.
We always know where the answers are now.
Before I came here to this Vihara, maybe 2-3 years ago, was it? Maybe 3 years ago, I would call myself an angry person. I would say, I used to tell people, sometimes professionals, doctors or therapists, I would say, you have never met anybody as angry as me. I would say that. But now I've changed my mind. It's my sister who's now the angriest person in the world.
Actually,
but yeah, so I have changed. Buddhism has helped to change, to take away that, or rather to have a tool, a useful way of reminding myself that there is no angry person. There is no person. There's no self. This self that my whole life I've identified with as an angry self doesn't exist. It only exists if I allow it to exist, and my thinking.
Actually, the very important thing is the seeing the danger of having anger.
Yes.
When we are angry, we are burning out.
Oh, yeah.
Inside, we are burning out.
What makes it very difficult is when the other person is angry.
Yes. You want to respond. It becomes a...
When the other person's angry and you become angry in response. And I know there are lots of teachings that anger is never overcome by anger, or hatred is never overcome by hatred, only by loving kindness.
Yes.
But it's
You have to remember that at the time.
It is finding that in the moment that is the hard.
I found something useful there. For instance, if somebody's done something and you respond feeling angry, before you do anything, just replace it straight away with a loving kindness statement mentally.
That's the practice.
And it just dissolves. Just change that way you're thinking. As an immediate tool.
May annunciatore smog be well and happy. People appear in your mind. They appear in your mind because they appear because we have opened our minds through certain media to certain personalities, and sometimes we see these personalities. I mean, this is my experience. I'm not talking for you here. And this immediate reaction is, oh, that's that person again. Oh no, and then before you know it, you've spent half an hour being very angry, or in my case, even using harsh words, swearing. And Linda always says, "Stop swearing at the television. It's only the television. There's no people there." Politics.
Britain at the moment.
I was thinking of something closer to home. Something on Saturday night.
You saw it as well, yeah.
Well, it was difficult to
The thing is, the ordinary people, they are going to control their anger when they are angry.
Yeah.
But we, who knows the Dhamma, we should practice loving kindness before anger starts.
To prevent it.
Yes. If we have practiced loving kindness again and again, actually practicing Dhamma is like sharpen our weapons for the war or fight. Where is the fight or war? When we experience some negative experiences.
Exactly. On Saturday, something happened in this room, and there was 4 people in the room, Will and I and 2 other people. And something happened between 2 people. I was in the middle of the 2 people. And this person here said something to this person here. Or a thing happened, and immediately from this side came anger. For nothing, for no reason.
No good reason.
No
and
reason.
You felt it.
And I felt the anger, and I felt the other person be humiliated and I think embarrassed. And I don't know if that person was, but for that person I felt angry on behalf of somebody else. And immediately I had to make a decision. I could either respond now and say, "You cannot say that. That is wrong."
I thought you might have done actually.
Well,
I think you did it very well.
I came very, very close. I thought, do not react. And, no, I didn't even think that. I just knew from my Buddhism, from the fact that this is the vihara and this is the sangha, not to behave in a way that is going to cause. Because I don't know what might have happened if I had responded. Because I have a lot of anger possibly, and that could have come out, and that would have made things so much worse. So in the end, the only thing I could do, I think I said something probably that I shouldn't have said, but one word I think it was something like charming.
You left the room.
Yes, I left the room. I went to the kitchen, and everybody in the kitchen
and
Bhante immediately saw that I was. Well, they're like, "What's wrong with you?" So, and I explained, and instantly everybody. The fact that I did that, my anger went away because Bhante said, "Yeah," but he immediately said it because you said, "What is it?" I said, "The woman through there said something," and you said, but where is she? What does think about her? Why is she angry? And you immediately began to say things that you meant loving kindness to the person who was angry. I felt that, and everybody in the room, Barbara, you were all agreeing.
And that person accepting that.
And everybody said, "Don't respond, don't say anything, just go back and carry on with what the monk is doing." And
otherwise you're hurting yourself by removing yourself from the studies.
Yes, and that personally helped me. I don't remember, but you didn't have that experience, so maybe you.
I didn't. I knew it. I couldn't say anything.
No, but you felt it.
I just sat here and
you felt it.
I saw people behave quite skillfully. Actually, I think. the person who's just left.
Yes.
He did it quite well, actually.
There was no response.
Yeah, he sort of tried to defuse it.
Yeah. Had that anger been directed at me, there would have been a response.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it was directed at somebody else who chose not to respond because that person is a better Buddhist than I am. So, yeah. But thank you for that for Saturday. Thank you.
Okay, as the result of practicing loving kindness, actually some negative people automatically go away from us.
Yes, exactly.
On the other side, when we have the highest attitude, such as I mentioned before, when I see a person, when I remember a person, if we can think that person as our son or daughter, actually then we can overcome a lot of problems.
Yes, so practice your loving kindness.
Yeah,
and
that's what I try to do outside.
Whether you want to or not.
That is a very unhappy person.
Yes.
And
yes,
deserves
before
something.
we go to the battlefield, we should sharpen our weapons by practicing loving kindness.
Yeah.
And I think also that loving kindness for people who clearly maybe have difficulty understanding things like loving kindness, you know? If we can understand it, if we try to be wise enough to be loving and kind to somebody, then we have to sometimes acknowledge that they don't understand why they behave the way they behave. They can't recognise it. They can maybe hear it and read it on paper, but to know that their anger is destructive is not always something.
Not everybody can look at themselves very easily.
No, yeah, that's right.
We're all different, aren't we?
And these are the real challenges we have, isn't it? When we
Actually, according to my point of view, actually this country, as you are born and you are raised, actually in this country there are no big problems. When you go to some countries, actually there are a lot of problems.
You're right.
Yes, because of some rules and regulations. Here we have only few problems with people, because always people respect the rules and regulations. Then here we have no lot of problems. Actually, we are so fortunate having this kind of environment, and we have to only few disturbances. If you are wise, if you are mindful, actually we can overcome those problems in our life.
And gratitude for not having so many problems is a good way to begin. To be grateful that we live in a country like this.
Yes.
Can I ask you just to recap one point with impermanence? So you were saying when we see something, it's already in the past. Yeah. So if I look at the yellow flowers, I'm looking now, and you're saying it's already in the past because it arises and then it ceases. So as soon as I see it and know it's yellow flowers, it's already gone. But then again I'm seeing yellow flowers.
It's continuously happening, isn't it?
So it's ceasing and arising continuously. So fast, I can't see that. Is that what you're saying? It's happened so quickly, I can't see that. But I can understand that, even if I can't see it.
Yes, actually mind is so fast. Mind is very fast. When you recognize even as green color or yellow color, actually you understand as well yellow color not through your eye, through your mind.
Yes.
Sometimes we think that we may think that if I need my eye to recognize colors, actually when you are sleeping, when you see in some dreams, you can see some colors. When a person is coming to you with wearing a white or very red clothes, after you are awakened, you can understand that a person who are wearing a red cloth came to me when I was dreaming.
Yeah, or we can remember someone 10 years ago in a green dress.
And also if someone asked you something in a dream, please give me something. After you wake up, you know that that person asked something me. Then at that time, you listening that sound not through your ear. You saw that colors not through your eye, through your mind. Like that actually. When you recognize something, suddenly the first experience only the shadow very soon, instantly it ceases. Then through mind we compare those things with our previous experience. That is the recognition. Then we recognize something through our mind. That mind also impermanent.
Yes.
That is also very past. That this experience arises and ceases. Again, another experience arises in our mind.
Today I was in acupuncture and I was trying to meditate while I was lying in acupuncture, because there's nothing else to do when you're lying with needles in you. And instantly I was going through the puja in my mind, Namo Tassa, and suddenly my mind began to wander, as the mind does, and I suddenly thought, I began to think about something a family member had said, but this was like 8 years ago, and I began to get caught up in the story, and I remember, he said that, and he shouldn't have said that, and I began to feel a little bit angry again after 8 years. And immediately I remembered what you're now, this is why we have to keep talking about these things over and over. And immediately I thought, that was 8 years ago, it's gone, it's just so gone, it's in the past, it's over. Dependent origination, it arose, it's gone. Now my anger is arising, it has to go now, because it's so
attached to it and kept it going.
Yes, but clearly there is somewhere in my mind there's an anger attached to that incident, and hundreds and thousands of incidents probably. But the practice is very useful now to learn, which is to feel it instantly, to know that your suffering is caused by dependent origination, because that is
not understanding.
By not understanding dependent origination, but
not practicing loving kindness, so that you have that mental state rather than an angry mental state.
Yes,
make that the stronger.
Right. I didn't quite achieve a loving kindness, but I did remember.
You're practicing anger every day.
Yes.
And you're making it stronger.
That's it. Yeah.
Actually, practice again and again, makes you an unshaken person.
Yes. Yes.
Practice it again and again. That is the secret of our real success.
Especially when it's hard, especially when it's difficult.
The more we practice, the more we see the results. The more we practice, the more we overcome suffering.
When I learnt my Tai Chi form, I practiced it every day, without fail. Yes. If I just practiced it once a week, I wouldn't have learnt the form. Needed to consolidate every day.
The main thing is the mindfulness, awareness. Whatever we do, if we be mindful, then we can recognize our mental condition. That is the very important thing. Mindfulness should be the area or field that we should live. Buddha says, whenever we are in mindfulness, it means we are in the field of the Buddha. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are in the field of the Mara or devil. That is the main thing. We should be aware of our body and mind. What happens to my body at the moment? What is the condition in my mind at the moment? That should be reflected on again and again, continuously. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. Okay. By listening to Dhamma, by discussing Dhamma, we generated positive thoughts, acquired meritorious deeds. With the power of this spiritual energy, may our departed relatives also receive these meritorious thoughts. With that intention, let's share these merits with our departed relatives, saying Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. Receiving these meritorious thoughts, may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they keep their eye on you too. With that intention, let's recite the Gatha. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu sasanam Akasatthā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Akasatthā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these meritorious thoughts, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation, the everlasting happiness, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantā ca nibhayam sokam pantā ca nissokam hontu sambe pipānino. May the triple gem bless you.